perks of being a widow. Spoiler, there are none. Today I speak with Camille, who lost her fiancé when she was just 18 years old. In this episode, we discuss suicide, we discuss suicidal ideation and self-destructive behavior. We discuss what it's like to feel isolated while you're grieving and prolonged grief. And we discuss how long the journey of grief can be. I hope there is something helpful in this episode for you, and please enjoy. If you're ready, we can just jump right on in.
Yeah,
Awesome. So tell me about your fiance.
yeah. Well, his name was Troy. He was 3 years older than me. We met when I was 16. A lot of people would be like, "Oh no, danger." But it really was love at first sight. One of those moments they walk into the room and you're just like, and it was for both of us like that. And we were inseparable after that. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like
How
inseparable.
how did you meet?
Through mutual friends. I had my cousin, her mom used to work on the road, and he was one of the road crew. like, and she was like, "Okay, we're gonna go over to this house party, and you're gonna meet so and so and so and so, and Troy's gonna be there." And I was like, I heard about him, but I had known him, didn't know who he was. And she's like, "Oh, he's gonna eat you alive." And apparently he had this thing with like biting people. So yeah, literally eat you alive kind of situation. He would, if he liked you, he bit you.
Hmm.
Early 2000s weirdness.
Yep.
He wore dresses and skirts and had very, very long hair. If he was alive now, I do believe he would go by they, them pronouns wholeheartedly. Was very goth, very, very dark, wore lots of makeup. Like I said, it was definitely a love at first sight for little 16-year-old Camille, who was like, "Okay, that's a real human being."
That one.
That one. I want it. It's mine now.
Aw. What was your relationship like? Like what was your dating like and
He was the most romantic individual I'd ever met in my life. Now, he had some troubles. He had drug addiction issues, which he was on papers and he was on, he couldn't. He had to get drug tested every week. So there was a lot of turmoil about that, but we got through it together. Like I said, just the most romantic individual you've ever met. From just like little things like sending you flowers on every Friday. Every Friday for 2 years, I got flowers
Oh.
without fail. He had to do some jail time for a while. Once again, was in trouble, and I couldn't see him for a whole month. And after that was done, I showed up to his house. It was the first time we got to see each other in a whole month. And there was like rose petals up the steps, rose petals into the bathroom where the bathtub was like bubbly and had floating candles. And like, then when I got out of the bath, rose petals and candles down the hallway. And it was like, you are joking. Like, who thinks to do that kind of stuff? He was truly the sweetest individual I had ever met in my life. He was the person who taught me what love was, what was supposed to be, like
Hmm.
supposed to be, from being my best friend to doing those outlandish romantic things. It was always a communication. We always talked. I could always be myself. He literally thought I was the most stunning creature that ever walked the planet, which if you've ever felt that love from someone, you're just like, yeah, no, this is top tier. There's
Hmm.
nothing after this. It's all or nothing after this. So
Hmm.
he set the bar really high as a first love.
How do you propose?
He proposed on my birthday. There was 4 dozen roses all over, and he proposed with a black onyx, which I gave to my niece after he passed away. So she actually
Oh.
still has that and wears it all the time. But there was like 4 dozen roses. His sister, his nephew, his mom and dad, stepdad were there, and he proposed and it on my 18th birthday because he
Oh.
waited till 18.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yep. We
Would
moved in
you?
with each other not long after that, too. I graduated high school, and immediately the day I graduated high school, my bags were packed. Like I was moving. I was moving. I was moving in with him. There was nothing anybody could do, say about it. I was moving in with him. And we lived in a duplex together with his sister and his nephew, and well, my nephew. I still refer to him as my nephew. He's made me a great aunt now 3 times. I'm still very close with their family. They will always be my family. But it wasn't long after we moved in together that he he took his life.
Had you started like wedding planning?
We had we had already started wedding planning. We had the flowers. Well, and on top of it, I was going to get ready to go to college. So we were going to be moving to Dubuque together from Decorah. So I moved from Guttenberg to Decorah, and then we were going to move from Decorah to Dubuque together so I could go to college. I was enrolled to start in August, and we had our whole life planned out at that point. I wanted to finish school before we got married. That was my own, but we already started planning. I knew exactly what kind of dress I wanted. We knew exactly what kind of flowers we wanted. Everybody that was going to be in the wedding was already told, like, hey, about a year and a half, because 14 months is how long a beauty cosmetology license takes to get. About a year and a half. This is what's going on. And there was a lot of joy, and a lot of our friends really just, I mean, we'd already spent 3 years together. It was about time, kind of thing.
Are you comfortable moving on to the like what happened?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you had mentioned that he took his own life. Are you comfortable talking about that more?
I can tell you everything. I mean, it replays so much in my head anyways. And at this point with so many, I mean, I'm 37 now. I was 18 when it happened. I have lived my life, more of my life now without him than I had with him. And I've been in therapy since it happened for PTSD. So I've had to say the story, and I've had to tell it so many times that, I mean, I'm sure you understand. It's almost like play the reel, if
Yep.
like the footage, and it's that old timey footage, and it's the tapes go, and we were having a normal week. He worked construction. I was about to start my job at a local telemarketing place. So I was at home at the time. His sister was at work. I was at home taking care of the house. We got a knock on the door. And here's this man that I'd never met before in my entire life standing on our doorstep. And he was like, well, where's Troy and where's Kendra, which would be Troy's sister? I'm like, they're at work. Can I help you? And he's like, well, I'm their brother. And I was very taken back because what brother? I said, okay, well, let me call Troy and Kendra. And I did. And they both were actually elated. Yes, that's our brother. That's our biological dad's other son. Oh my God. We both came home right away. I was like, okay. His father was estranged. So, I was like, okay, other side of the family. Okay. Never even heard of another brother, but all right, let's do this. We tried to be accommodating. We tried to be kind to him while he was there. He ended up staying with us for 2 or 3 days. And then all of a sudden, literally got up one morning and was gone, disappeared, and had left his phone at our house. We were all worried. Troy was worried. He was calling all over the place, thinking maybe he had a diabetic seizure or something like that, because all these health issues and stuff. And nope, nobody had heard from him. Troy really started internalizing that, and his fault. And then we started getting phone calls from the brother's other family. We treated him horribly while he was there. We stole his cell phone. We made him into our slave. Just absolutely bizarre thing being said. And then fight. And then Troy was bawling, and he was not good enough. And I didn't understand what was going on. And mind you, 18-year-old girl, first love of my life, I did not understand what was going on. And he just was crying and crying and so upset, and he just wanted to be alone. And I was like, I don't know what to do. I'm 18. And his sister's like, okay, well, I'm going to take Camille with me and my friend. We're going to go to the bar. And I used to be able to go to the bar in Decorah at that age. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't know how old I was. They never questioned it. I'd been going there for how many years already? Was drinking at the establishment for years. And I'm just out there with friends and with my sister-in-law, talking, trying to have a good night. Get a phone call from Troy. He's still upset. He's like, "Do you hate me?" I said, "No, I don't hate you." And he's like, "Well, I'm sorry I yelled at you. I'm sorry I was so frustrated." Because he did. He yelled at me. He had never raised his voice to me ever. So I didn't know how to take it that. He's like, "I'm sorry I yelled." And he's like, "Are you coming home soon?" I was like, "Yeah, I'll 3, 4 blocks away, walking distance to the bar. Could have easily." He's just like, "Okay," talked to his sister a little bit, and then he left the phone with everybody, and it was fine. He couldn't go to the bar. He was on an ankle monitor, couldn't go anywhere. So I waited a little while and I started walking home before everybody else did. And I actually called my high school best friend on the walk home and left her a message and
Mm-hmm.
walking a little drunk, 4 or 5 blocks home. I walk into the house, the whole house is dark. And I walk in the living room and I turn and I see him standing in the doorway, standing in the staircase to go upstairs. And I say, "Hey, babe, I'm going to go grab something to eat and I'll be right back up." And he
Mm-hmm.
didn't say anything. I stopped and I was like, "Hello?" And he was just standing there in the dark, put the light on, and he was not standing there. He was hanging from our bed sheet. So I ran to the kitchen and I grabbed a pair of scissors and I cut the bed sheet down. I couldn't get it off of his throat. I dropped him. He was 200 pounds, dead weight. I dropped him on the step. I drug him down the steps. I called 911, proceeded to do CPR. His sister walked in at that time. That's where things get blurry. I remember screaming at the EMTs. I remember calling my cousin. It was the day after her birthday. I mean, it was technically, now it wasn't even her birthday anymore. Her birthday was the day before, and it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. So it wasn't her birthday anymore. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
calling her. I'm trying to get a hold of everybody. I don't remember. I remember calling my mom. I remember screaming at the EMTs to defibrillate him, but they wouldn't. And I kept screaming like I'd already done CPR. You needed to defibrillate him. And they wouldn't do it. And so then I got really mad, obviously. I had apparently slammed my face into the concrete a few times because I was bleeding. My mom showed up, put me in the car, and then the EMTs took him out of the house. And that was the last time I saw his body. And then they took me back to Guttenberg and they took me to the emergency room where I don't even know what doctor it was, gave me something. And then I was asleep until the next day. And I don't remember. I mean, I remember waking up to a pack of cigarettes sitting next to my bed, my mom's bed, not knowing how I got there, not knowing how I got to Guttenberg, not knowing how I even got into that bed. And then, yeah, that was the last time I saw his body. They cremated him, so I didn't get to say goodbye or anything like properly, which is pretty fucked up. His mom took his blanket from me too, and I couldn't keep that, like the blanket that we had on our bed. She finally did give it back to me like years later, but it took years for her to give that back. People when people die, other people do really weird things. And they like take everything that and by the time I got I don't even remember. It probably took me like 2 or 3 weeks, probably 2 weeks to go back to our apartment. And our bedroom was essentially like cleaned out. My stuff was still there, but like they had taken pretty much everything of his. And it was like, oh my God, like where did my life go?
Oh, that must have been like, cause my experience, I was 30, and like I had kind of the opposite situation where like we'd just gotten married and then he died and then I had all of his stuff that I was like, the fuck am I gonna do with all of this? Because like a lot of it was stuff that I didn't want, you know? I was like, I don't need 4 boxes full of action figures. Like, but on some level, it was like also such a gift to like have all of him around me. You know, I mean, it came with its own challenges clearly, but I can't even imagine like going back to the house that you shared and like what was that like?
It took me a good 30 minutes before I could get out of the car. Even seeing the house was a lot. Well, and then on top of it, his sister's like, things are happening. Things are happening in the house. Things are happening. And I'm like, well, yeah, like you thought he was gone. Like that to me, I could barely walk through the door. I had a support team with me to be able to just even get through the door and get go upstairs. The steps broke down on the steps, could not get up the steps. God, it took me years to even be able to go back to Decorah after that. I just the whole fucking town, the whole town was just like tainted. Like we had so many good memories and it was just all gone. It was just everything was gone. The police took his computer and they couldn't get into anything, which is hilarious to me. He had that thing so locked down it wasn't even funny. But they did find a note to me that I was not allowed to keep. So the one letter that he did write to me, because he wrote a letter and it was to me, I was allowed to read it, but I wasn't allowed to keep it. It was essentially he was going to go get help. He was going to get anger management classes. You know, like he was so sorry. He loved me. It wasn't a goodbye note, but I know the depression and the sadness and the everything was just too much for him. And the trigger of this person showing up and whatever conspired between them because like they had gone out and done brother things and I wasn't impeding on it and I didn't know what went on and I still to this day don't know what was said, what was done, no idea. But that gentleman did go around and tell everybody that Kendra and I committed murder and we killed Troy, which the autopsy obviously came back that was not true.
Yeah.
But that was a lovely, fun little thing being said about me for a while.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that we murdered him.
Wow. So like what was the aftermath like?
Between night terrors, I would wake up with handprints on myself from either myself hitting my like in my sleep. I wasn't allowed to be alone, obviously. I wasn't allowed to be alone for was a good month. Like I literally had to have people sitting in the bathroom while I took a shower. They had to hand me my razor. I had friends that were my babysitters. I couldn't sleep by myself. That was really hard. And if I did, I have to be on a couch. So like the backing, I could push against it. But other than that, I couldn't sleep by myself for weeks. I mean, weeks. I couldn't sleep by myself. I did try to jump out a window out of a 3-story building. My little brother grabbed me by the back of my shirt and stopped me. So he saved my life. I did not want to be here. It took so many years to even just be like, no, I want to be here. I did start college. I went back to work. I did all the things that you're supposed to do. Like you can't just sit there and cry. But I really wanted to just sit there and cry. My whole world ended.
And so young, like
A baby. I was a baby.
yeah. Yeah, like you're barely like you're and you think about being 18 and it's like looking back I'm like yeah that's when like your life like really starts and like you're so young and you don't even know you're young and
You think, I'm an adult. Look at me. I can do
yeah
stuff now. And then, but in reality, I was a child.
yeah
I was a little girl. And I had everything that I thought was my future ripped away from me. And coming from an abusive alcoholic family, like that was my way out. I was out.
Yeah.
I was out and I was loved and I was safe. And I wasn't anymore. About 3 months after Troy committed suicide, my dad and I got into a fist fight because of him. Because I got told a lot. Well, he killed himself. He didn't care about you. Well, he didn't love you.
Oh my
He
God.
didn't really love you. I got told that a lot by a lot of really heartless human beings.
Like, yeah, on the list of shitty things to say to someone who's grieving, like, I feel like that's like, if that's not the top, I don't know what is. Like, holy shit, man.
But because he took himself out, that meant he didn't love me at all. And that's not the case. That's not the case. I know that's not the case. I'm a grown ass woman now, and I know that's not the case. He loved me more than anything. He couldn't do it anymore. And whatever trigger set him off, whatever it was that got that in his head, that was the only way, the only thing that would help, there was nothing anybody could do to change his mind at that time. There was nothing I could do. There's nothing anybody could do. And to have people that are supposed to be your family tell you those things, it was just like, okay, well, how can I abuse myself to get through this? So there was off to college and lots of drug abuse because he passed away in June. I started college in August. So good year of lots of drug abuse. I got my own apartment in Dubuque and did whatever I wanted. I didn't get caught though. Lots of reckless behavior, really reckless behavior, from relationships to whatever. I wanted to feel anything but numb anymore. Lots of self-harm, years of self-harm. Everybody says, time heals all wounds. No, it doesn't.
No.
It just makes you forget. It makes you forget like the good stuff, like their laugh or their smile. You don't forget
Their smell.
Yes, you don't forget the bad stuff, unfortunately. Like,
No.
unfortunately, that doesn't go away.
Yeah.
That's seared into your eyelids for the rest of your life. And then the good stuff is what fades. And that's just not fair.
It's really not.
Yeah, years of just self-deprecated abuse, self-harm, lots of drugs, lots of I don't want to be here, but I'm forced to fucking be here situations.
Oh gosh, see, like I want to say I'm sorry because like I'm trying to work my way out of like not doing that where it's like I'm so sorry like that happened to you because like but seriously though that is so hard and so like you were so young and like and I'm sorry that
Sorry, you don't have to be sorry.
I know I
I
know.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. It it shaped me
Yeah.
exponentially. It did. I mean, I have PTSD still to this day.
Hmm.
Like, there's no getting rid of that bad boy. He hangs
No.
on. I have really strange coping mechanisms. I have triggers like if you don't call me and you say you're going to call me and you don't call me, man, I am panicking at that
Hmm.
point, and years and years of therapy. And still, there's still all the little
Yeah.
nicks and dings and dents that come along with what happened, and what really sucks was about 2 years ago, one of his best friends did the exact same thing, the exact same way. And we all had to get together and do it all over again. And it's just like, damn, like, and it brought back so much. It brought up so much. It brought back so much. It was seeing people I hadn't seen in so many years too, coming
Hmm.
together and just being like, it's here we all are all over again. And unfortunately, the one that passed away was the one that was sitting with me outside during his funeral. And now I'm
Yeah.
sitting at his funeral.
So speaking of like the funeral, were you when it was Troy, were you able to be a part of like the planning or like any
I
of
was
that?
included as the special friend in the brochure,
Oh gosh.
and I had absolutely no part in any of the funeral planning. Like I said, it was all taken from me.
Yeah.
Everything was taken from me.
How did that like shape your grief journey? Like,
I was robbed.
yeah.
I didn't grieve the way, which is why I think I was self-medicating and why I was self-harming in the ways that I did, because there was no closure. Like I said, I didn't get to see his body. They cremated him. I didn't get any of the ashes or cremains at all. They're still, they buried his ashes and he did not want that. And so now there's a tombstone and it's so weird. And when we go there, we leave stuff for him all the time, but it's like that's not what he wanted. He was in the wind, he was in the water, he was skinny dipping and running naked through the backyard. He was, stealing a police officer's tubes out of their backyard so we could go tubing and then bringing them back before the cop got back. Like that was him. And he was too free to be put in a hole like, but I have no rights to him. We weren't married. We didn't get married, didn't get to get married. So I had absolutely zero rights at that point. They even took my sweatshirt that was his. It was his sweatshirt, but I
Mhm.
literally wore it every single day of my senior year. If there was a picture of me in my high school yearbook, my senior year, I am in that sweatshirt. Like they took it from me. It was mine at that, and
Yeah.
they took it.
Like in the years since, have you been able to find ways to like to honor or grieve or celebrate this, this person that you love so much? Like,
Well, my ex, so I had a box
mhm,
of letters that were written to me from him from his time in jail, when we couldn't
mhm.
see each other for a month. But I had kept all his letters, and there's a picture of him in there from our camping trip that I took. And it was him sleeping next to the campfire, but it's just him sleeping, and it's so fucking cute. And I had like some incense that we used to have in our bedroom and stuff in the box too. And I had an ex find that box and demand that I burn it. So I had to get rid of I refused to get rid of some of the letters, but he demanded that I burn the other ones, get rid of them. So that was really hard. But I mean, I used to, my cousin and I, who was like his little sister, we do something for him every year and we go smoke, we go to the grave, we bring him cigarettes, we gravesite. They tried to have a medium, like his family tried to have a medium come in, and the medium asked for me by name
Mm.
and where I was. And then he didn't want to talk anymore. And he was done talking. So the medium was like, I don't think this is a really good time for this.
It's like from beyond the grave being like very much like, hey, you guys fucked up. Like,
Yeah. Where is she?
yeah,
Where is she and what to do to her? Because I was alienated.
yeah.
I was alienated, completely alienated for a long time by his mom. I still talk to his sister. We see each other a couple of times a year. It's slowed down as we've gotten older. She's got grandbabies now, 3 grandbabies now.
Yeah.
So, things happen, but she was there when Cairo was born. So, like, yeah, that's Aunt Kendra to him. He doesn't know any other, that's who that is,
Yeah.
and so it's family. But yeah, his mom did not, and I don't know if she blamed me, but it wasn't anything that, I did.
Mhm.
Clearly, like there was so many other circumstances going on and so many other things happening. And I don't know if because the last thing he wrote was to me and not to his mom. I don't know, but there's
Yeah.
just some like, hurt feelings there.
Well, and like, like you said earlier, grief does weird things to people, like it just does, like I carried my husband's ashes around in a whiskey bottle. Like I'd take him out to the bar for like months, 'cause like it's where he'd want to be. That's where I was at mentally and emotionally was, well, carrying him around inside, might as well carry him around outside, but like, you have to wonder if I mean, do you feel that seeing you brought up because I'm guessing most of the time she saw you, you were with him. So like how much of it like how much would it have hurt to see you and not him next to you? You know?
Right. And I try to understand that. I try to
Yeah.
be, but also you lost him.
You
I
both
lost
lost
him
him.
too.
Yeah.
I lost him too.
Yeah.
You lost your baby, but I lost my fucking whole life at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand even better now, but I did understand. I tried to be understanding of her and her reasonings, and it just sucked. It
Yeah.
sucked to been. It went from, and obviously she didn't take any of it well. Nobody
Yeah.
is going to take the loss of their baby well. Nobody. And so obviously she wasn't doing well either. She was grasping at everything of his that she could hold on to.
Yeah.
And I can understand that. But also that was like all I had left too.
Yeah.
But like, like I said, when I got back to the house, like our whole life was gone. I had nothing. I had nothing to remember him by. And you guys just like took everything.
Have you like reconnected since?
She met up with me before Cairo was born. She has met Cairo a few times. But yeah, she's still not well. She changed a lot after he passed away,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
People don't think about, the damage it does to the people around you when you decide to take your own life. And I mean, gosh, so many people were affected. Even his nephew, who I have to tell him stories now. He's a grown adult man, and I have to tell him stories about his uncle, and I'm the one that, I'm Aunt Camille to his babies, and I'm his last connection to his uncle.
You had mentioned the time after being a really dark time overall and like self-medicating and self-harm and et cetera. Was there like a turnaround point for you?
I wouldn't say necessarily a turnaround point.
Mm.
It was more or less a bottom, and like I hit rock bottom. I did. I hit rock bottom. I was didn't know what to even do with my life anymore, and had to reevaluate everything that I had thought of, and it was back at my parents' house, and like just 21, living at my parents' house, like trying to get back on my own feet after really screwing up. Yeah, that was, yeah, just hitting that rock bottom. I guess that would have been the turnaround point, because I was like, he would not want this. Like, he would not. He would not. I never felt like, I still to this day, like, I struggle with people who say they love me, because I'm always like, no, don't say that stuff, because we're going to die. So that's one thing that still is just, something that we have to live and learn every day with, and
Right?
trusting people not to just die on you is a weird
Right?
thing.
Right? It's like I remember when I started dating Luke, like I was like, I can't like it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. When's it gonna happen? Is it gonna happen? It's gonna happen. Right? It's gonna
Waiting
happen.
for that flip flop to drop. Like,
Right?
when I've had, partners that used it against me and was like,
Mm,
well, this is what happened to you prior, blah, blah, blah. And then like you think about it and you're like, wow, like that's what you chose to use against me.
Right? Like I'm pretty
Oh,
I'm pretty good at fucking my own shit up without pulling that into it. Like
yeah,
that's
yeah,
that's fighting dirty.
yeah, for real. And one that has done that to me. And there's a reason he's a ex.
Yep. Like how has been date? Because like again, you were so young. Like how is
Well, it
dating?
ruined it. It
Yeah.
ruined because like so young. That was the first love of
Mm,
my life. Is anybody ever going to love me like that ever
mhm,
again? Am I ever going to feel like that ever again? Am I ever going to
mhm,
feel that supported or that loved, or and you have to realize that people love in different ways and people show love in different ways, and that was a learning curve, and
mhm,
like then you get into relationships with people that you shouldn't get in relationships with because there's a spark of this and it's like, oh no, don't listen to that. And
mhm.
no, it really, dating is hard for me. I guess dating somebody with BPD and PTSD, because I have both, brought on by trauma. So that's, yeah, there's a lot of triggers and I'm well crazy. So like certified and papered, well crazy. Yeah, I wasn't ever, I wasn't ever, I was real mean before, I was a real tough cookie. I never was a crier. I would never cry in relationships. I was very tough. I was a very tough person. I cry all the time now. I cry. I have panic attacks about stupid things. I have anxiety attacks about stupid things. And you just have to get over them. Like you have to push through it. And my poor partner, thank God she does love me. Yeah, because I don't know who would put up with me.
Oh.
Otherwise, well, crazy. But I still feel like I love hard and I love big. And I did learn that from him, just to love with your whole heart. Give people the benefit of a doubt, even though they may look one way or seem one way. And it's burned me before.
Yeah.
But here we are. We live,
Mhm.
we learn. But since him, I only had 3 serious relationships. It takes a lot to get into a serious relationship with me. And I'm a very monogamous, long term person. I think that because of what happened, it shaped me to be like that. Like I need to have that like trust and consistency, or else I'm bananas,
Mhm. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like I said, if somebody doesn't answer my phone call, I'm like, what is going? Are you dead? Like, are you dead in the ditch? That's where my brain goes.
Yep. Yep. Immediately. Just like, oh, they're dead. They're dead. They're dead.
You can't have no communication and be in a relationship with me. You cannot. You like it's just not that. I need all the communication because otherwise I go a little loopy. Yeah, it's the best way to put it.
Just a little loopy.
A little loopy. A little
Tiny,
loopy.
tiny bit of a loopy. So you
Yeah,
mentioned that you do like, you do like visit the grave site and like that. Do you do other things for like anniversaries and such?
I don't. I don't need more, I should say. I used to every year on his birthday, we would do something every year, but I haven't. I do a post, obviously, and it just says how many years it's been. And it says the word one, which is what he used to say when he would get off the phone. He would never say goodbye. He would just say one, and that was it. So it's always just how many years without him and one, because until we meet again, until we see each other again, which I feel that he is one of the people around me all the time. I feel like not so much a guardian angel, because good God, he would have flipped out if I called him an angel. He would have been like, watch your mouth,
How
woman.
how about a guardian gremlin?
Yes. Guardian gargoyle.
You go. I mean, I believe gargoyles were originally meant as like as guardians, so maybe he's
Yeah.
your
I mean, they were
gargoyle.
supposed to guard the castle. So yeah,
Exactly.
a little dark omen, but in the best way. Just
Hmm.
the reason I celebrate my birthday the way I do is because of him. Because of his religion. He was a Satanist. He believed that your birthday was the best day of the whole year and you should always celebrate it. And that's why I get so crazy with people's birthdays. So more or less, I honor him through the way I celebrate everybody and try to, because like he would have been going all ham for your birthday. So somebody has to go ham for your birthday, like
Hmm.
because you should celebrate that you exist. I think it's cool. It's a cool way of thinking.
Have you seen like a psychic or a medium?
No, I've always wanted to.
Hmm.
I've always wanted to. I've always wanted to see if they could tap into him or if he's gonna be loud because he was very loud. People think I'm loud. He was shooting bottle rockets off in his mouth while climbed up a tree loud, like that's loud. But I've always wanted to, but I've always been nervous. I don't want to know how close I was to like getting there in time.
Yeah.
I don't want to know that. I blamed myself for a long time. Why didn't you leave earlier? Why didn't you leave? And
Yeah.
but like I don't want to know how close I was to getting there in time. I don't want to know that. I mean, I know he's okay. I
Yeah.
already know he's okay. Like he fucked with his sister for years and years and years because she kept his computer and he would turn it on at all times of the day and night, and music would start playing and,
Uh-huh.
all times of the day and night. So, like, I know he fucks with his sister still, which I love. He loved his big sister so much. So, yeah, so I know he's around and I'm like, hope he's like happy and like happy with how I have. I mean, he got to watch me grow, I guess, essentially.
Is there anything that we haven't touched on or talked about that you would like to?
Because of him, I have a really different view of suicide. A lot of people think it's selfish. I don't. I don't think it's a selfish act. I don't feel, I feel like people are villainized when they commit suicide sometimes. And I wish that wasn't the case so much. I just, I wish people would understand that some people's souls just can't, it's just so heavy here.
Yeah.
And if they choose that this is, time for them to go, then I feel like that's their right to choose that. And a lot of people would disagree with me about that. And I feel like I've lived through enough to have my own opinion on that. I have a very, very different view of death since he passed. I mean, it shaped, I guess, how I viewed death for the rest of my life because I don't see it as an end. I see it as a just an end of a chapter. It's not so much. I mean, the vessel's gone, but the energy isn't.
Mhm.
And so more of a release back into whatever. So yeah, that I mean that he shaped that a lot. My respect for death, my respect for the dead and for the afterlife in a very different way than a lot of people see it. I see it as beauty. I see a lot of beauty in death, and which is why I work with body parts and dead bones, and and I just I see a lot of beauty in it rather than I try not to see all the sad. And
Yeah.
and when people close to me do pass away, I'm not usually the one crying. And some people are like, "Oh, you didn't even cry. You didn't even cry." And I was like, "Why would I cry? Like they're just going to the next chapter, like
Yeah.
it's a release of this part.
The next phase of their existence.
Yeah, it's just a release from this part of it and on to the next. I
Yeah.
don't. I mean, I can miss their physical being all I want, but that is selfish. A lot of people really don't, they don't like my thoughts on
Your
Dustin.
hot take. They don't like your hot takes.
No, they just want to cry and be sad. And I'm like, okay, you can do
Well,
that. I did that for a long time. So I did
I
that for
cried it all
so
out.
many years. Yeah, I did that for so many years. Let me tell you.
Did preemptive crying for
Yeah,
everybody. Like it's
I
just
exactly.
it's out of the system.
It's done. So
Yep.
much crap.
Awesome. Well, so podcast is called Perks of Being a Widow. You know, there are none.
There are
But there
zero.
are there's none at all. But, you know, also now I'm really great at ruining small talk. Really great at it, you know, and like also now I have a socially acceptable reason to hate Christmas, you know, like,
Yes.
you know, so do you have any perks of being a widow?
I don't sleep with top bed sheets. Those are not needed in my house and are not allowed. So
So
when
you
we
don't have
buy,
to wash them?
I don't have to wash them. I don't have to buy them. Nothing. Zero top bed sheets. That's the perk.
That's a great perk. Yep.
No top bed sheets.
No top
No,
bed sheets. No, just, they don't exist. They're not real.
they don't exist. Not in this
No,
house. I
no,
don't. No.
no. Don't have to wash them. Don't have to fold them. Don't have to do any of that shit.
No.
Don't have to worry about getting them with the bedspread while you're making the bed. None of that.
Nope. They don't belong here, and I
Yep.
do not touch them. So if you I got a bed set for Christmas for my little brother, beautiful bamboo bed sheets, and I'm
Mm,
like, we burned those things though. That's not even allowed in my house. Like,
get
get
it
it
out.
out of my house. Those are not welcome here. They don't belong here. So, and he's just like, I know, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. No, it's a real thing. Even my son, no top bed sheet, zero top bed sheets, not in this house. Nope. Which is a really weird thing, but
I mean,
I have reason to hate them.
exactly. It's like it's weird until you're like, well, here's why, and then it's like, oh, valid.
Right. Oh, and working with people who lived in the house that this happened to, and they would ask me, well, will you come over and tell him to stop making my dog bark? Ma'am, I haven't stepped foot in that house since I got my clothes and left. No.
Absolutely not.
I'm sorry your dog barks at the steps. I apologize. That's a rough one for you, but I will not be going in there and talking to anything. Thank you. Hard pass on that.
Like thank you for
Balls, the
thank you
balls
for
to ask,
thinking of me, but no. Like, yeah,
to ask
seriously though.
someone.
Do you mind coming back to a place where one of the most horrible things you've ever experienced in your life is? Because our dog's barking.
Yep,
Like,
hard pass. Thanks. Not reliving any of that trauma.
well, thank you. Thank
For
you
having
for,
me.
yeah, thanks for chatting with me. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you are interested in being on the podcast, please email me at avalon@perksofbeingawidow.com, or you can find me on social media on Instagram at perksofbeingawidow. Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your day.